Just all right. So this being recorded. So just a reminder, I always record anytime I teach a new lesson. So today we're going to focus on specifically carbohydrates in nutrition. So what I want you to get out of this, or our target is, what is carbohydrates? I want you to learn where do they come from, where do carbs come from, and what do carbs provide. So hopefully you already know and remember that carbs is a macronutrient. It gives you energy. So we've been talking about that for a while. But the other thing I want you to know about carbs is notice the underline carbohydrates come from plant-based foods. So where does carbs come from? They come from plant-based foods. So fruits, vegetables, grains, sugars are all made of carbohydrates. So those are considered carbohydrates. So you don't get carbs from meat, okay, or animal products. You get carbs from plant-based food. Okay, so in grains, I know we know what fruit and vegetable grains would be like your breads, rice, yeah, pasta, that kind of stuff. Okay, second thing I need you to know about specifically about carbs is they are created from sugar molecules. Okay, so glucose, fructose, galactose, those are all different types of sugar molecules. That's important to know because carbs, because they're created from sugar molecules, once you eat them, they get converted back into sugar in your body. Okay, now it's different types and they have different effect. So don't read into it too much. I'm gonna meaning some people have this mindset of, oh, it's sugar, that means it's bad. It's not necessarily the case, but just know that all carbohydrates get turned to a version of sugar. Okay, which will make a difference depending on what carbs you're eating. So carbs are plant-based food. So it comes from fruits, vegetables, grains, sugars. They're all made of carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are created from sugar molecules. Okay, know that stuff on the screen. So make sure you're taking notes. Got that stuff down. Okay, there's three types of carbohydrates. Okay, there's sugar, there's starch, and there's fiber. Sugar, starch, and fiber. So carbohydrates can be broken down into three types. And let me give you some examples. So let's look at fruit. Fruits in general, they have water in it, which is a micronutrient, plus carb. And it is a complete carb. It has starch, fiber, and sugar in it. So it has all three types of carbohydrates in fruit. Okay. And it has a micronutrient, which is water. Okay. Vegetables. Vegetables don't have the sugar. So they have starch and fiber in vegetables, but it doesn't have sugar. Okay. So different carbs have sometimes may have one. See, do we have one that has one? One type of carb. Some carbs have all three, or some foods have all three. So as you can see, meat products they don't have carbs in it. Okay, grain products does your rice, your wheat, your oats, your pastas. They have starch and fiber. So know that carbs. There's three types of carbs in foods, or three types of carbs: starch, sugar, or fiber. Okay, what does carbs do for us? Okay, energy. Okay, it is the quickest energy source to break down. It's the quickest energy source from a food that you from any type of food that you can eat. Carbs turn into sugar, which is like fuel, very very quickly. Okay, is actually the preferred energy source for your brain. Okay, now your body can run on other energy sources like fat. Fat actually has more calories than carbs in it. So fat has more potential energy, and we'll get into that when we focus on fat. But carbs give you energy the fastest. Okay. Now you got fiber. Okay. Remember, fiber is a type of carb. Fiber, a carb that has a lot of fiber in it, is very difficult to digest. It keeps us regular in the bathroom, keeps the body flowing. You know what I mean? And it makes you feel fuller. So, you know, if you've been around or listened to people talk about food and nutrition, and so much nutrition is all about like avoiding weight gain or getting weight loss, that type of deal. But fiber makes you feel fuller. So, you know, picking foods that are high in fiber will allow or help you feel more satisfied longer. Okay. And the third thing that carbs can do for us, and you got to notice this whole page. So that all of this is important. The third thing carbs can do for us is can give you antioxidants. So a word that is all around fitness and health. Antioxidant, it prevents against free radicals that can cause disease. So especially a lot of fruits and a lot of vegetables have antioxidants in it, and it's your preventative. It helps prevent different diseases. So as I said before in our couple last few talks, I said carbs are not essential, meaning you can survive without carbs. You can even thrive without carbs, or at least every type of carb, even though it's not essential. I also said there are a lot of good things in carbs. So I'm not saying it's bad. It's just you can survive without it. So it does give you some good stuff that makes it important. What else can carbs do for us? Carbs can actually supply protein. Okay. Most people, or a lot of people, think they only could get protein from meat. So I got to eat meat to get protein. And that is the easiest way to get protein. But there are different carbs that provide protein. So you can meet all your essential protein needs. Remember, protein is essential. You have to have protein. Your body has to have fat. It doesn't have to have carbs, but it has to have protein and fat. So you can meet your essential protein needs without ever eating meat. So vegetarians and vegans, they still get protein because many carbs do have proteins. But you got to be strategic about it. It got to be appropriately paired to actually have to thrive, to have good nutrition. So fats, carbs can provide fats. You know you need proteins and fat to survive. And again, you don't have to eat uh, animal products to get that fat. Okay. You can actually meet your essential fat needs through carbs. Okay. Things like seeds, things like plant oils. So avocado oil, olive oil. Those are probably more common. Canola, canola oil. Any of your seed type oils typically provide our essential fats. Okay, and those are those are basically carbs. So you can meet those essential needs through eating carbs. And then lastly, vitamins and minerals. Carbs can provide vitamin and minerals that provide a variety of different nutrients that support our nervous system, calcium for our bones, iron. I mean, it is, you know, all your different micronutrients that are vital. Certain carbs can provide those things. So not all carbs are the same, but certain vegetables, certain fruit can provide these types of things to help you, help your body, help support all the functions of your body. So carbs can be very good. So main thing, carbs equals energy. As I started off with, it is the quickest way to, it's the quickest thing that your body can break down to give you energy. So some traditional beliefs. Traditional beliefs is carbohydrates are the preferred fuel source of the body. I think there's some research that is coming out that is maybe counteracting some of this, but that would be your more traditional belief, and I guess the more agreed upon belief. Okay, traditional belief is people should have at least 50 to 75% of their daily energy needs from carbohydrates. So if you look at the old food pyramid, even the newer food pyramid, it basically is saying most of the calories or food you eat should be carbohydrates. Okay, mixture of fruits, vegetables, and grains. Okay, I disagree with that. So I'm giving you my opinion. There's traditional beliefs. Here's what the food pyramid is saying: 50 to 70, like half of the food you eat to 75% of the food you eat should be carbohydrates. I disagree with that. Well, I would say it like this: if you're going to eat a high amount of carbs, okay, if you're going to be on this higher end, I suggest most of the carbs come from vegetables. Okay. So, although carbs can provide a lot of good things, there's a lot of negatives that could come along with carbs, especially for certain people who are susceptible to sugar. Okay, and mess with. I don't want to get into type 2 diabetes, different things like that, but having a carb-based diet has really, as you like, as the FDA kind of start pushing that, and every country that has pushed a carb-based diet, the type 2 diabetes have shot up. Why? Because carbs are sugars. It turns into sugars. Okay. The vegetable part of it doesn't really have much sugar in it. And even though a conversion to sugar is super healthy, you don't really have to, like, that doesn't trigger type 2 diabetes and the things that contribute to type 2 diabetes, which is huge in America and certainly huge in particular African Americans, which a large portion of our school is African American. So this is critical. Like I personally, I don't believe it's wise to have such a high carbohydrate diet, especially most people, their carbohydrate diet is grains. It's gonna turn into sugar, and they like sweet fruits, but they avoid the vegetables, which is the best kind of carbs, the most healthy, the thing that doesn't trigger some of the negative things that grains can trigger. So, personal suggestion, I won't test you on this, but if you're gonna have a lot of carbs, push towards the vegetable side. Okay, don't like the grain side. Statistically, especially if you're African American, you're probably more susceptible to type 2 diabetes, and I just wouldn't. I wouldn't do that. I don't recommend it, and I don't do it personally. So, our bodies quickly break down the carbs, and they turn them into blood glucose. Okay, what I talked about, which again can affect if you're susceptible to insulin sensitivity. This is why you want to stay away from a lot of the sugar if you have that potential medical condition. And any unused glucose, any unused energy that you eat. So whether carbs, fat, proteins, if it has calories and you don't burn enough energy, it gets stored as fat. So it's not necessarily one is worse than the other. I mean, it may affect hormones differently, which I'm not getting into a whole lot, but just understand if you eat calories and you don't burn that energy, then it gets stored in the body and it gets stored as fat, whether carbohydrates, proteins, or fats or alcohols for that matter. All right, we're coming to the home stretch. Different types of energy. Okay, benefits of carbs is you get quick energy. That's what makes it great. You get quick fuel to train, study, or go about your day. So when you need a quick pick me up, carbs can give you that. So that is that positive side. It is the like sugar is the quickest energy source there is. That's why if you eat something sweet, you get a burst of energy, but you burn through that really quick. That's the downside is we tend to feel hungry a lot sooner. So, eating Pop Tarts for breakfast will give you quick energy. There's a lot of calories in something like that, and a lot of it is pure sugar. So it will give you quick energy. So what tends to happen to people is they get energized real quick, and then boom, their energy falls really quick, and now they're hungry. And what can easily happen is people tend to overeat because of that. Okay, so just be aware of that. Use it. If I'm going to go do a quick workout, then yeah, doing something that's going to give me quick energy is beneficial. But I just have to understand that I'm gonna feel a lot hungry sooner. It's not gonna make me. It's not gonna fill me up. So carbs are digested and absorbed really quickly when we eat a meal that's purely carbohydrates. Sugar provides that energy the fastest. So it might be the most satisfying in terms of most people taste buds, but it's the most unfilling food. So wisdom is the more fiber and the more starch carbohydrates that you can add to that sugar, it will give you a more sustainable energy, make you feel a lot fuller, and it'll hold you off a lot longer. If you add proteins and fats into that, it even provides even more energy. So, or more sustainable energy. You feel like you got more energy. You feel full. You don't feel like you need to eat as quick. And so, again, we'll take days where we really focus on protein and fats, but putting those with some carbs, that fills you up, and you can go longer without eating because there's more slowly digest. So the more complex things you eat, starch, fiber, protein, that fills you up, gives you energy for the longest. The more simple the carb is, the sugar-based carbs, man, it gives you quick energy, but people tend to crash really quick. Okay, this is the last slide. So um, this is a duration of fullness scale, so that you feel full when you eat. And here's how you want to think about it. Like sugar gives you a great burst of energy, but you don't stay full very long. So you tend to want to eat more, okay? Because your body start telling you need more energy. If you start eat a starchy carb, so like a potato, sweet potatoes, white potatoes, those are like good starches. Now that's gonna fill you up a little bit more energy longer. Fiber, foods with fiber fills you up even more with that. So like see what the top of my head, oats, got quinoa at the top of my head, but I'm sure most people don't know what that is. But fiber fills you up even more. And then look at this, proteins and fats fills you up the most. So although we're not talking about fat, I'm just gonna say it, eating fat does not make you fat. Eating proteins does not make you fat. Okay. That you gotta, like, if that's what you think, you've been told a lie. You actually feel the more, like, yes, it has more calories and fat, but it gives you more energy and you feel fuller longer. So potentially you actually could eat less if you feel fuller longer, if you feel more satisfied, as opposed to sugary based diets. People tend to eat more because they burn through the energy and then they feel unfulfilled and they want to eat. So there's a lot of wisdom in having a well-rounded way of eating, which is why I've said from the beginning, like, I don't believe in these restrictive styles of eating. They just seem to not work. All right, so next time I see you, we'll review this again, and have a review assignment. I'm not giving you a review assignment today because I know I talked most of the period, but hopefully you